Good afternoon, everybody. It's your pal Martin the Melod here. I hope you're going well. Today is the 7th of November 2024, and this is a really significant day in my life. On this day, 8 years ago, I boarded a plane at Sydney International Airport, flew to Hong Kong via Malaysia, and after 5 days in Hong Kong, I flew to Vladivostok and travelled all the way back to London overland without flying. Now, I have not been home to my country of birth in all that time, in all that 8 long years. The closest I would say that I've been to my country of birth would have to be Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, or Almaty, Kazakhstan, or even Georgetown, Guyana. Yes. So, 8 long years away from my country of birth. Okay, this wasn't the first time I'd moved abroad, because I moved to Birmingham twice within a period of 12 months. Like July 2015, I was in Birmingham for a month, and then I came back in April 2016, and I wasn't succeeding because of stupidity and, not getting along with other people, lack of motivation and all. I've always basically just had the will to travel and not really bothered about wanting to do a good job. But in the last 8 years, there were no times I thought maybe it's time to go back to Australia. Even when some fascist Italian migrants stole my money when I was renting this place, I was just quite luckily I just stayed on because I got to travel to Central Asia, and those stupid Italians I was living with, well, smoking and all that crap doesn't get them to anywhere in the world. So, I have made it a goal that I will go back to Australia after the 7th of November 2026. That will be 10 solid years away from my country of birth. And I've wanted to prove a point to not just my brother, but also to my dad's family that I disowned many years ago, who didn't believe in me. I've had no contact with them whatsoever since my grandmother died in June 2017, just weeks after I moved to London. And I remember when I was 27, I told myself that I would spend more time in the UK than my cousin from New Zealand did, and I would visit more countries than another one of my other cousins from New Zealand. And then, when 2021 ticked over, I remember saying this to my mom. I said, "Mom, I've been to more countries than Michaelia and more time in London than cousin Brendan." And my mom's like, "Well, don't waste your time." I'm like, "But Mom, I achieved it. I didn't waste my time. I just wanted to prove other people wrong that I could live away from Australia. I could live in a foreign country that I'm entitled to live in due to Jules Sangus and Right of Blood and all. Yes, I'm entitled to live in the United Kingdom as well as the Republic of Ireland, and as well as New Zealand because I have a New Zealand mother, and so is my country of birth, Australia. I'm entitled to 3 passports, but if I really wanted a New Zealand passport, I would apply for it, but there's no point. So, 8 long years. And even during the time of COVID, I told myself I wouldn't go back. Even when Australia had a fortification of having to pay $3,000 to the government for hotel quarantine, there were a lot of Australians who refused to pay that money and had debt collectors going after them. But those ones were the people who didn't have multiple citizenships or the right to stay in where they were stuck when the COVID pandemic happened. So, you got to think about all the greatest things that I have been able to do since leaving Australia. My tally of nations was 49 when I left, and now it's 108. I've been able to go to South America, North America, Africa, Middle East, Asia, whatnot, all because I choose to live in London. If I was living in Australia, those opportunities would never really happen because they would be too damn expensive. Can you imagine an Australian person wanting to go to Guyana so badly that they have to shell out a lot of money to go through the United States, or they just have to book those annoying flights that go to Chile and Argentina, have to pay money to enter those countries in and wait a few days to see if I can get a flight onto Brazil, need more visas to Brazil, and then onto Guyana. Everything works well when you live in London. And I remember this one thing from the late Reg Grundy, from the early interview he gave in his career. He said, I live in Bermuda because I'm 5 hours away from New York, I'm 6 hours away from London, and I'm in the middle of it all. So, being in London, being on the Greenwich Meridian line, means you're in the middle of it all. And would I recommend other people to move back to their ancestral homeland of where their parents or grandparents came from? Yes. See what you can do. Take the opportunities. Don't just stay in your country of birth and then not realizing when you, like on your deathbed, like, God, I wish I lived in America, or I could have lived in Europe, or I could have moved to Jerusalem, or I could have moved to the Middle East, or I was born with a crappy passport and I had a lot of money, but I kept my nationality instead of buying a foreign citizenship. So I'm now 38, and so I left Australia a few weeks before my 31st birthday, and with the 2 years I've got left until I get back to Australia, there's still not a lot of things I really want to do. Within the United Kingdom, still want to see more of Wales, still want to see the Lake Districts where a lot of my friends live, still want to go to Northern Ireland, the Isle of Man. Really want to cross the borders between, like, both sides of Ireland. That's something I haven't done. Really want to get my B2 visa to go back to America. But I would really hate for my life to change dramatically and have to go back to Australia in case of, horrible things. I mean, my passport expires from Australia next year, so I have to renew that in case something horrible happens, that I have to go back to Australia and drop off a hat, but I'm ready for it. I don't regret not going back to Australia in all this time frame, because I'd always kept a close tab on my family, but sadly, my parents can't travel because of their age and health conditions. My brothers have been quite lazy. They've got one has a passport and takes his children abroad, and my other brother doesn't have a passport, doesn't do anything. But the nice thing was, I had a couple of my cousins from New Zealand visit me, and I had a few friends from Canada, United States, and Australia visit me in London. I remember the first time my buddy Metal Steve came to visit me in London in 2017, and we worked together in a really crappy Mexican restaurant in 2008. And we're still the best of friends, but I need to go visit him in Winnipeg sometime. But the reason I don't really go out to Canada is because, well, there's a lot more of the Americas to see. I was thinking of going to visit Leonard Cohen's grave in Montreal for my birthday this year, but I thought, wait, I haven't been to any Caribbean island nations, so why not go to Antigua for my birthday this month? Now, there have been some sad things that have happened in Australia since I left. Like, I lost a couple of relatives in New Zealand in the last few years because of old age. My childhood nanny passed away of dementia when I was living in Sweden for a bit. I've had family friends pass on because of age. I've had my childhood friends start families of their own. I've had, but I've always kept in touch with friends in Australia. I mean, even though the time difference, if I would always message them at the appropriate times, and I'd be able to talk to them, even if I'm a night owl in London and they're working away on site in Sydney, Australia. So I'm really proud that I have now been away from my country for 8 years, and I've now been in London for 7.5 years, and I don't know where I'll move next, but I know where I'll go. Mind the Metalhead, over and out.